Hello? I mean, I can. I forgot. Was it control I did? No.
Oh, man. Hello, hello, hello. I think we're back on. Well, it's been 2 weeks since our last live stream. Last Wednesday was Kyle's birthday, and I figured not to bombard him with a live YouTube stream on his birthday, so we did skip last week, which means this week we are watching episode 10. I forget what episode 10 is even on. Last week was, I think we gutted the interior of the truck, and so I guess we're going to see what episode 10 is all about. Also, side note, really funny, Kyle and I are both wearing green shirts right now on a green screen. At first I thought it was the video or the cameras that are all messed up, but nope, we are just both wearing green on a green
messed
screen.
up.
So we're going to look very translucent. We're going to look like Casper the friendly ghost over here.
We also don't have any light.
Yeah, our lights disappeared.
You want to grab the light?
Yeah, that. BRB.
Joe is using it for...
Oh yeah, we're live stream on TikTok.
Oh, that's right. Wrong keyboard. I was like, it's got to be one of these, dude. There we go. Yeah, that one. It's got a floating head. Oh, it's the firewall.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can start your summer with a splash.
Oh, that's not so bad.
Nailed it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the
Look
10th
at my head.
episode of our F750 CrewCab build series. In the previous episode, you watched us morph together our 76 steering wheel with
That's
our
funny, dude.
2016 Super Duty steering wheel column, which means in today's episode, we're going to jump back into the
It's the state of
interior
Idaho on your
and
chest.
swap our firewalls out, which will help us in the long run tremendously. So there's
so
nothing
funny.
to it but to do it. Stay tuned. All right, you guys, first up for today is we need to start cutting out this firewall. We have a hesitant line of where we're going to cut out first. You can kind of see it from here. It's a natural line from the manufacturer all the way around. One thing we want to make sure we do is we cut out as minimal as possible for now. We can always come back and cut more out as we need to when we bring in the firewall from the 2016 Super Duty. So that's kind of like the main takeaway for now is cut off as minimum as possible. That way, if we need to remove more, we can. It's easy enough to do. It's harder to add material
Not bad.
back.
Cameras.
And
No, the
we
cameras
don't
look
wanna
good
do
right
that.
here.
So that's up first.
We also moved our camera location. We had a box in the middle with our two cameras, but now they're kind of separate.
There's no room for anything.
Yeah,
You have two different keyboards I'm using.
yeah.
There's two computers in here. Nice. What do you call a computer mouse? Mice?
Mouses.
Mouses?
Mouse. Mices. Mice.
What do you call a goose? A goose, right?
Yeah.
What do you call multiple
Geese.
A moose? Just a moose, right? So what would
All right, you
multiple
guys,
moose
update
be?
time. The firewall
Geese.
or what portion that we think we need to take out is out. Here's the cut piece of it.
Too bad you were telling something.
This is actually
Meeson.
gonna do one of two things. The first
Remember
thing,
the hat?
we need more
In
space.
the hill, I
for
saw a bunch of
HVAC
Meeson
system,
back
which
there.
will be tucked up and
People are
over
like, what?
in that corner right there. By using the factory firewall from the donor truck, it is actually made to contour around the motor perfectly. So hypothetically, once we get to graph the bottom and the top, it should bend around the motor perfectly, and then we can mount everything up to it as if it was factory. The second thing it does is, see how many holes are in this thing? We have not put a single hole in here. This is from everything for the stock factory F750, whether it's for the air components, the brakes, whatever, wiring holes. The thing's Swiss cheese. So if we were to use this and then start using all the components from our donor truck, such as the brake booster on the back side, new pedal locations, new steering wheel that goes to the firewall and not to the bottom, I don't think this would be structurally sound at all. There's so many holes in this already. So that's the second thing replacing the firewall will do. We'll be able to actually mount up everything that we're going to use and switch over to the factory bolt holes, such as the HVAC system, all the brakes, all the pedals, the brake booster on the backside. Everything will be there for the wiring, holes and plugs. So this is actually going to do, hopefully, be a way better outcome than using this and modifying this. All right, while Kyle's doing the important stuff on the gauge cluster, I am going to jump back into the donor truck, and I need to get the rest of this firewall cleaned up so that way I can cut out the area that we need.
Gauge
so
cluster?
I still have some
What?
wiring.
Said I was working on the
pedals,
gauge cluster.
Gotta get rid of this fire shield.
Yeah, so you
excuse me.
started the
And
gauge
then,
gauge
just
cluster.
like
You were doing like the whole
76,
top holes.
I'm essentially
Or-
going to cut out from right to
They're
left
ripping this stuff out.
the natural break in the firewall. So we have one right here, we have one right here, and then, like I said earlier, we'll be able to use all these factory mount holes and bolts and everything like that. Everything with the firewall, everywhere where the pedals mount up, that will all be used, hopefully, in the new truck, which will save us a lot of time with
Do we still
R&D
have
and
that
fabbing up
sound
new mounts.
dampener?
Yeah, it's upstairs.
Nice.
That'll be nice. We'll just have to trim up the upside or the top a little bit.
If we have.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, update time. We now have 2 trucks with no firewalls. Both of them are cut out. This one is ready for a transplant. You can see we just went along the natural line of the pressed metal in the donor truck. Cut it out. The width, this one is a hair bit wider than the 76, so we're actually going to trim up the edges. It's actually about 1 inch wider, which is perfect because I'd rather cut off material than add it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything's cleaned out of here. We are ready to make the transplant. So next up is to put this firewall into that truck over there, mock it up, figure out where it needs to go, and there's nothing to it but to do it. See how it all? We'll keep you guys updated. All right, you guys, we have a game plan for getting this firewall where we need it and where we want it. It's going to be a lot of time of just cutting out, fitting it, cutting material out, fitting it back into place. Essentially what we have to do is we have to go from this, which is about 1 foot on each side with rounded corners, flat across the bottom, to about 17 inches in the middle is the peak height. So you have to go from that, if you're looking at that shape, and we have to go and essentially cut that shape out of this firewall. Now luckily for us, the bottom is relatively flat until here, and then in the factory donor truck it dips down and comes out. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to notch this out up top. This is for the support of the dashboard, of the factory dash of the donor truck. This is just for that whole support metal piece. So we're going to cut those out because we can weld it into place for support and durability.
Yeah, on top of that
So we
firewall,
knock
there's
that
2
out,
different mounts.
and
On
then
the
we're
right
gonna
hand side,
come
there's
through
other
here,
mounts too.
and we're going to trim up the bottom a hair bit to match the factory.
It's kind of wild to look at that shape and how
Now,
well it fits in the truck now.
We don't think that's going to be the best and most perfect fit, but we know that's where we have to start at.
Let me watch you just put wood in the fire.
Oh yeah.
I probably went and started gaming.
Oh, that's one thing you start doing is the steering column. When I start doing this.
Oh.
All right, you guys, update time. It doesn't fit. Big surprise, right? So that's essentially how it has to sit in the firewall position. Over there where the pedals go, the steering wheel, all those things, it has to be vertical, straight up and down. And then these are the two areas that have a slight angle to them when they're sitting in their final resting place. Obviously, that's not where it's going. It's just sitting in front of the firewall of the truck. So what we're going to do is to keep the spacing for the steering wheel and all the pedals in relations to the floor, we're actually going to cut out more of the firewall. Over here is more straight, it's more flat across coming through here, so we're going to be able to keep the factory. Let me move this out of the way. Hardly see it with the light.
That firewall is almost like has a
Anyways,
lead in it. I know it doesn't, but
more of the factory
it's two thin
firewall
pieces
here.
stamped together.
On the other side, I don't
So
know
it's
if you
very
guys can
weird to
see
weld
that.
and cut through.
Oh, I
We're
bet.
going to cut out some of the extra firewall right
Well,
there.
I knew it was
to
a
compensate
pain in the butt to
for
cut through.
that goes
Just
right
welding,
there.
I'm sure,
We
was a
figured
huge
it's
pain in
more
the butt.
important to have
Yeah,
the
because it would
pedals
just burn through
and
everywhere.
everything in the proper place in retrospect to the floor than it is to have the firewall from the factory truck. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to cut out there. There's a line right here. That's potentially where we might have to cut out, but for right now we're going to just cut out as minimal as possible because we can always cut out more. It's going to be a lot harder to add material.
K&A.
Push it. Build it.
Push
The
it.
2024 Can-Am
Yeah.
Maverick.
Alrighty, Kyle's got the fire rolling.
Stroking it.
So now that it's warm in the shop, he's going to keep going on the steering wheel and the disassembly of the 2016 Super Duty steering wheel. And then I'm going to jump inside the truck and I'm going to remove the HVAC system and start cutting out any little knick-knacky piece from the floor pan, sorry. That way we have the best
you use that
and
word often?
cleanest line
Yeah.
to approach the new firewall. Over there, I don't know if you guys can see, the angle of the factory floor pan is a little bit higher than the new firewall, so I'm going to cut at that line, and that way we can have a clean approach
Not hungry?
into the new
No, I am.
firewall. So I'm going to
Just
clean
trying
up
not
this
get.
whole
I'm not.
area,
I'm
get it
used
ready
to. I'm not
for
used to the
new
long
sheet
facial
metal
hair, so I'm trying
and
not to have it
welding
just all on my
while
face.
just
Oh,
working
just shove
on
it in.
the
No one
steering wheel.
cares.
So there's nothing to it but to do it. We're
Fucking
going to get
put
going,
it in your face hole.
and we're staying warm.
Kyle's wife made us pasta.
Joe doesn't like it, so he's trying not to eat.
No, I do like it.
I am gonna get bigger though. Don't rip this thing out. Oh. She got me one.
Yeah. Got a couple beers in here, huh?
Alright, you guys, first thing up this morning is we are going to start making some cardboard templates. Get fitting relatively well, then we're going to transfer those over to some sheet metal we have, cut it out, and start welding everything into place. We don't think we have to cut out any more. of the floor pan, but that may be determined differently later down the road. So there's nothing really to it but to do it besides just cutting up cardboard and making it fit. So we'll give you guys an update shortly.
The sunshine is out. That's the nice thing about now is with the nice weather, we can start having the garage door open. So we're not just in a stuffy shop all day long. Do you know how quick and easy it would be with those snips that we have now?
Oh yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. I felt like
Yeah, all this stuff.
yeah.
We spent a lot of time.
Yeah.
But also, we get some weird angles.
Yeah.
So.
You did such a good job with it though, heating it up and bending it around. Ooh. It actually looks really good.
Yeah, I think after we finish it out and grind everything down, it's gonna be.
This camera is up in its grill. My expert welding job. Look how much it moves with just adding heat to it.
Yeah, it just wiggles.
Milo's rewards credit card saves us 5% on its
Milo's reward card.
Points from that so we save 5% on this and get.
Does anybody actually have a Milo's rewards card or Milo's credit card? Do you?
My dad has one for Home Depot. But because you get like a certain amount of rewards points, but
I'm just curious. I don't.
does the average person have one? He owns a
Yeah, does
construction
the average?
company.
Yeah, does the average person have one? Answer in the comments right now.
Seriously.
Do any one of you have a Lowe's card or Home Depot? And if you're not a contractor.
But nowadays you can get credit cards anywhere. I was at
Yeah, you
like
get a
Old
credit-
Navy.
Amazon.
I was at Old Navy and they're like, "Would you like to apply for a credit card?"
Old Navy's an old one.
Yeah, and I'm like, "For Old Navy? Like, why would I?" apply
Brittany
for
has
a
one. She got it when she was like literally 18. She's had it ever since.
Yeah, maybe it's just it might just be people's like first credit cards they ever get.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, why would I need an Old Navy?
My first credit card, which was never really a credit card, was Schwab
Oh yeah.
tires, and they said it was kind of funny. The manager there at the time, I said, "Yeah, can I finance them?" He says, "Yeah, do you have?" He said, "What's your credit?" So yeah, something. And I was like, "I don't have any credit. I've never had a credit card, never done this." And he goes, "Well, we can't give you." He says, "Basically, it's a credit card, so we can't give you one if you don't have any credit." I said, I literally looked at that. I said, how are you supposed to get credit if you have to have credit to use credit?"
Yeah.
And he kind of paused. He went to talk to his manager, and they're like, "All right, hey, where do you work? This and that, blah blah." And like, "All right, we'll give you or not a loan, but
Yeah.
basically a credit."
A line
So
of
then
credit,
I
yeah.
bought the tires for an old pickup and paid it off. Bought more tires with it. I've bought all sorts of stupid stuff with that.
I know, isn't it funny the requirements? I love seeing job descriptions that want like 20 years experience, freaking a master's degree, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But look at this piece that we get to cut.
This camera angle makes it look worse than it actually was.
yeah.
I think.
We have some welding wire.
Look at
Kyle's
that.
going to install that into the welder, and I am going to install the HVAC system, get it in place, because this corner over here, we have to wrap it around where the HVAC system is going to go. It bulges out a little bit right here. We knew that, hence why we cut out extra of the firewall. But we need to get it in place first and then start figuring out our welding templates to wrap around it and where it's going to dive into the firewall here. So that's up first for today. Toss that in there, get some welding wire in the welder, and we'll be on our way.
We still need to get welding wire for the
Yeah.
welder.
I need to do. I'm such an idiot. I just need to do it some day that I get like off early. Just come here and get the gas. And
I can do it too. Just same thing.
I'm sure you're like me. It's like times like this, you're like, oh, I could do it real quick. And then one day when I get off early, I'm like, oh man, I could take a nap. I could hang out.
I'm just gonna go home and play on my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly what I do. If it's not working till 10 o'clock. What's that song?
I really need to buy a brake. Like one of those small Harbor Freight ones. Like that'd be so quick and easy for that.
Remember when you took the fucking Nova panel and you used it to make the top plate on this thing? I said, what metal are you using, Joe? The scrap metal? I was like, don't use it.
Yeah.
Joe hacked up a panel I need for a Nova fenders.
I was like, dang,
Literally
this
just
thing
cut
is-
out a big old chunk for it. Is that they were scrap fenders someone that we got from somebody to do some fender repairs and
So
weld
while
out some
Kyle's
rust
up there
spots.
welding
And
on the firewall, I'm
Joe
gonna start
already had it
grinding
cut it out, and
down,
I was like,
my welds
God damn it.
and start cleaning them up. Now, I don't mind if I don't clean them up 100% and grind them down completely, because seam sealer is going to be going all over this cab. And if
Excuse
it's
me.
anything like the factory seam sealer, for example, it's not nice, it's not pretty. It's essentially just shoved on there and they ship it down the line. So I don't care if it's not 100% smooth, 100% clean, because it's going to be covered. Then carpet. We do have a sound deadening that will be going on everything as well, so you'll never see that. But I do want to knock off the high points so that way we can at least get the seam sealer smooth and there's no bumps, especially right around here. I don't want to be having my foot on the pedal or the brake or the gas or anything and feel something up underneath. It would probably be pretty uncomfortable. So I'm knocking off all the high points. So that's what I'm going to do up next. Kyle is working on the firewall, and I will give you guys an update shortly.
Like, when's this song end?
The song has been going
I know.
on for like the past like 10 minutes.
Everyone's about to see that beautiful fender I cut.
That gap I had to fill. Fucking tiny
Oh,
shit,
yeah.
man.
welding this thing out like a boss.
Cole, he's my miracle child. So how does your miracle child get cancer?
These are the ads on the videos.
I know. Ask God, I guess.
A mass, basically a tennis ball sized tumor at the base of his brain. We were then rushed over to our local children's hospital.
I wonder how many people donate to these things. Like, they obviously work enough that they advertise, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
But it makes me wonder how many people call up really quickly.
Have you ever thought about it though? Like when
you have cancer and it's not
you think about cancer and God, saying they both exist, do you think God actually has the choice? Or I'm sure, obviously, power to do anything you want to, but I don't think he actually gives any human being an illness. Like, I don't think he just goes, all right, this one, all right, you, and you, and you, and you get an illness that you're gonna die with bone cancer at the age of 4 months.
Yeah.
I honestly don't. I think it's just random. He knows it's gonna happen, but everything's just random.
Well, and it's also
because if he legit would like chose specific children to get these diseases, like he was playing chess, if I meet him, I'll punch him in the face. Swear to God. Like, you can't tell me you think it's a blessing or they're so strong or they had such a vibrant, 3 months of their life where they were loved so much and, God did this to them because he knew they could hit. No, there's no. I'd still punch him in the face.
I honestly think it's
random.
Well, yeah, so it's like when you conceive a child or whatever, it's like certain genomes are expressed at that time.
Yeah.
So it's like essentially the man and the woman, the mom and the dad, the boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, when they conceive a child, whatever genes are expressed at that time, like one could be faulty, right?
Yeah.
So it's like now you're passing that faulty gene onto your offspring, and that could turn into sickle cell anemia. That could turn like whatever. So
yeah, leukemia.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not necessarily God just saying, because that's the biggest thing you see on people. It's like, why would God ever do this to a freaking newborn and blah blah blah. I'm like, well, if you want to point any fingers, point the blame at the mom and dad.
Right.
They have crappy genes.
There it is. That's the Nova. The Nova fender.
Dude, it works so well. It bends really nicely and
Bye-bye, Nova fender. Yeah, I didn't know what Joe did until I came over here, and I said, Joe, where'd you get this piece of Nova? He's like, I don't know. It's really thin, though. Fuck.
I was so proud about how like well it contoured and stuff. I was like, bro, what are you doing?
I know, huh?
Not sure where I'm at right now, but
Just bending the fuck out of that Nova.
Yeah, we could be like that Johnny Cash song, one piece at a time or whatever.
Yeah.
We got 2016 Super Duty, we got a Chevy Nova parts, we got everything.
Yeah. Put a stick on the back. I was built with Nova parts.
Is that an F750? Yeah, it's an F750 Nova. You want to check it out? Oh, this is... You guys are going to see some really crappy welds. I didn't have... Did I not have the gas turned on? Like, dude, there are pits in every single one of these tacks. And I don't think I had the proper gas on. So, I'm not a welder. I don't know.
I can't remember.
God.
It looks like a bunch of stalactites
Dude.
hanging off.
Good thing there's the invention of a grinder. So look at that. Perfect. A grinder will make a welder out of anyone. That's so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, but honest question. As long as you're getting good penetration with the
Alright, you
heat,
guys, update time.
it doesn't really matter what your
We
welds look
have a
like. Well, if you're
firewall
grinding
that's
them out,
welded in
right?
place. We do have
Like,
a
obviously,
couple
if you're not
places
grinding
that
anything
this
out,
lower right-hand
you
Yeah.
corner
do
needs to
care.
be
But
welded out,
as long as you have proper
as well
penetration,
as
that's all that
the pop
matters.
out
Yeah,
top.
you just can't
We have
have
two
consistent
lines that,
penetration if you're
need to get
doing
welded.
bad welding.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a good spot, but
I've done
then
pretty much all the
trying to
welding on
follow.
this, and I
Yeah.
am not a welder. I have never even taken a class. I do not claim to be a welder, so all this can be grinded down, ground down, grinded, whichever one. Seam sealer is going to be going on top of it, as well as sound deadening. So I am not too concerned. It's very firm. It's in place. Kyle double checked to make sure there's no holes, no pitting, things like that. So it's in there solid, but you guys can make fun of my welds. I'm not a welder. Don't claim to be, so that's that. So I have started grinding down up here. You guys
Like, that doesn't look too bad.
No.
what it's going to be finished like. I need to go get a...
I hear how shitty the welds
sand
were.
down further. I think
Look
Kyle's
like you're
got some other
spelunking down there in a
welds,
cave.
some other lines to finish up. This stuff was pretty thin. I needed it to get the contour of the box right here. So
Man, this metal is really
different
thin. I wonder what
gauge
it's
metal
from.
That's really thin, and I just keep burning through it, making holes. So I'm gonna let Kyle do that because he actually knows how to weld and won't waste time and money and material. So yeah, he's gonna do that. So I'm gonna get back to the inside, grinding it down, and yeah, that's pretty much all we have left. We have a couple seams to weld up, and then we are completely done with the firewall. I don't think I'm gonna do a time lapse of me grinding everything down just because that's boring, and you guys just want to see a finished result. So, but that's it. We'll touch the HVAC system in right now to double check to make sure everything fits, but that's the gist of it. We have a 1976 F750 CrewCab with a firewall of a 2016 Super Duty.
Look at that ass.
Look carefully, my pants are ripped in the crotch.
That's a money shot
Alright,
right
you
there.
guys, with the firewall in, we installed the HVAC system, and we hesitantly put the dash where it's at. Now, the dash is going to have to come down a little bit, but the defrost and the heater and things like that is kind of in the way. We're going to notch out the dash up underneath it, right there.
Yeah, that
right there,
plastic
so
looks
way the
weird.
dash
Having
can
that
sit down.
Leather, like you talked about, will look
And
so
cover
nice.
that, obviously.
It's very
Kyle went and
big.
grabbed the steering column that we swapped and our brand new bench seat that he's sitting on right there. And he's just been figuring out kind of distances between the steering wheel.
You look like a
and
toddler right there.
the pedals and him, the steering wheel and the dash, things like that. And yeah, there's going to be plenty of room. Even with this big bulky steering column that's not in a factory 1976 Ford, we still have plenty of room to see the gauges. Yeah, these older trucks, your steering wheel is in your lap. I have a 1966 Ford, and when you drive it, it's pretty much in your lap anyways. So I think it's going to work out. Anything, Kyle?
Nope.
And a few words. So that's going to do it for us today. I'm happy with it. We now have a firewall in place.
It's
HVAC
funny
system
when
in
Joe will
place,
film these.
and the interior can
He'll be like, "Hey, I'm gonna do an
reassembled
update video." I'm
before
like,
we
"Ooh,
deassemble
let
it
me
to
get
make
this
a-
and sit
All
there
right,
and
you
be
guys, that's a
and
wrap
be in the
for this
video, and then I'll
episode.
be
We
there
have
holding
the
something,
firewall
hold something
of our
place or
builder
doing
truck
something,
in the crew cab.
and then he's like,
We have
"All right, you got
HVAC
anything?" And I go,
system
"Nope."
installed in place. Where's
And it's funny
the
because
rest
most
the
of these things that we do are
have
Kyle's
the
idea. Like,
dashboard
we'll talk
hesitantly
about stuff, and
in place,
we'll
along
kick
with
ideas back and
bumping up the
forth.
steering
And
wheel,
Kyle's like,
where
"Oh, I
it's
think we
going
should
to
do it
go
this way. I
roughly.
think we should do it this
So
way."
next episode,
And
we're
since
going
he's
to
a
finalize
engine
our
rebuilder
dashboard,
and has done more of
get
this stuff than I have, I'm like, "Oh,
installed,
yep,
final
let's go
resting
for
place,
it."
Get the
And
steering
then-
wheel figured out.
I do an update, like I know what I'm talking about, and then when I ask Kyle, he's like,
on the next step.
I'm like, dude, this is your idea. Tell us about it.
I've seen that clip, like the one I told you, is like management, and you know when you're short-staffed and management wants you have a shit ton of work to get done. And it's that clip with Rick and off Yellowstone. Rick, did you figure out a way to get this all done without getting everybody killed? Yeah, kind of just said, you know, fuck it. And he's like, all right, fuck it.
That's our philosophy for this truck.
That's it.
That's it. Next week we'll do episode 11.
We started a little late because we knew we were gonna be a short video.
Yeah.
We'd like to. That's the excuse we're gonna go by.
Yeah. We like to keep our live streams around an hour long.
We're about 30 minutes right now.
Our first live stream, and then last week we had 2 weeks ago we had a lot of engagement. So if there's questions and comments, stuff like that, we will answer them. But tonight, you know, the chat's been super live. So
yeah.
there's a lot of questions to answer. But that's how it is. We start a little bit late. People have things that they're doing at night. Some people have a lot better things to do than to watch our reviews of our own videos.
Maybe if we change it to Sundays.
We could.
Sunday nights.
We could also do it if we're working on Sunday. I'd like to do it afterwards. You know what I mean? That might work out. So, yeah. I think another thing is we just skipped last week. So like 2 weeks ago, remember 2 weeks ago? There's like tons of questions and tons of people jumping in. So
yeah, I had family in town.
Kyle had family. His birthday. He had a buddy from Alaska.
He was supposed to come down.
Well, he was supposed to. And then
I had a lot of shit going on. So sorry.
Yeah.
I've cussed a lot this video. I apologize.
That's okay. But you know, this is a YouTube channel that we take very serious. Our truck we take very serious. But at the end of the day, it is a fun hobby for us. Yeah. So when it comes to family and birthdays and other things, unfortunately, a live review and live stream kind of gets pushed to the back burner, which we're both okay with. So
which I'm hoping you guys do too. Mm-hmm. Don't put us in front of family.
Yeah.
And if you do,
your family must suck. Okay. But next week, Wednesday, or maybe Sunday, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I'll make a short if we switch it up to Sundays to kind of give people a heads up. But next Wednesday we'll review episode number 11, and hope you guys like it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.